Guess what? If you blinked for a second, you totally missed the LIV Golf making a grand entrance. The Saudi-backed franchise came on with a selling point to revolutionize the world of golf. And, as crazy as it sounds, they just might be doing that. You heard that right. The LIV is changing the entire landscape of world golf. But how? Well, stick around to find out. Just to make sure that we're on the same page, when we say the world of golf, we essentially mean the PGA Tour. The PGA is virtually all the golf we've had in the world for over a century. Sure, there's the DP World Tour, the 4 major tournaments, the Ryder Cup, and the like, but they all revolve around the PGA Tour. Despite raising eyebrows among PGA loyalists faster than a golfer spotting a gopher on the green, the LIV Golf isn't just surviving the feud, but some of the policies and formats of the breakaway tour are being emulated by the more established golf bodies. What's even crazier is that even the PGA Tour players who refuse to defect to the LIV are somehow in support of these formats. And we're not talking just any PGA player, but actually the best of them, like Scottie Scheffler and Jon Rahm. These two are the hotcakes in golf today. Rahm is the hotter cake though, having just won the 2023 Masters and making it back to the top of the official world golf rankings. That's why it had everyone talking when in late April, Rahm spoke about how rigorous the PGA Tour schedule used to be on the Pat McAfee show. But that's not all he said. He openly stated that the PGA's recently improved schedule is all thanks to the emergence of LIV Golf. Jon Rahm really didn't take it easy on the PGA. He started off by talking about how tough traveling for tournaments on the PGA's old fall tournament schedule was for him. He said, "I don't think a lot of people understand the lifestyle that a professional golfer has. We travel a lot, but all we see is the inside of airports and airlines and then hotel rooms, and that's about it." But with the PGA's schedule changes, all that is set to change. In case you're not familiar with the schedule change that Rahm was referring to, remember how the PGA normally starts a new season just 2 weeks after the FedEx Cup playoffs? Rahm described that schedule as ludicrous, saying, "This is the ludicrous thing about the PGA Tour. Before that, you would finish off the FedEx Cup, finish the season, announce your champion, and literally 10 days later, there's a new season starting with a new leader. 10 days later." Clearly, John wasn't a fan of that format. Well, good thing then that it has been changed. Oh yeah, starting from fall 2023, the PGA Tour will not be starting a new season after the FedEx Cup playoffs, but instead have put some new events during the fall schedule. These new events include 7 different events designed to give players who finished outside the top 50 in the FedEx Cup a chance to boost their status for the 2024 season. That just sounds as considerate as the PGA Tour has ever been with their tournament formats. Having talked about all these, Rahm drove home his point by saying, "Honestly, one of the things that LIV Golf allowed us to push for was less golf in the fall." Not like this is the first time Rahm is openly criticizing PGA Tour policies, though. Prior to his Masters win, the 2021 US Open champion, talking about the new designated events the PGA Tour introduced, said this: "Without LIV Golf, this wouldn't have happened. To an extent, we should be thankful this threat has made the PGA Tour want to change things." One thing about Rahm is that he will never consider defecting from the PGA Tour, but he definitely isn't afraid to voice his opinion and support for certain LIV Golf structures. When it comes to Rahm's views on designated events, however, he's definitely not on the same page with some of the other golfers, particularly the 2 greatest players to wear the green jacket before him. If that hint didn't do it for you, we're talking about 5-time Augusta champion Tiger Woods and the record 6-time winner Jack Nicklaus. Those are the real big men. Their issues aren't exactly with the designated events, but with the introduction of the no-cut structure in those events. So yeah, maybe Rahm's a bit off the hook for his different point of view. If anybody knows about the effects of cuts in golf tournaments, it's Tiger Woods. He might have fallen off a bit in recent years because of his injuries, but the 15-time major champion still holds the record for most consecutive cuts made with a crazy number of 142. Yep, 142 consecutive events without ever missing the cut. That's just crazy. Some golfers go as many events without making a single cut. Woods started this streak way back in 1998 and took it all the way to the 2003 Tour Championship to set the record. Clearly, he has every right to voice his opinion on the PGA introducing no-cut events like the LIV. And he is absolutely not in support of the idea, not one bit. Woods said in April 2023, "I certainly am pushing for my event to have a cut. I think that maybe the player-hosted events may have cuts." He also revealed that he isn't the only GOAT who shares this idea about no-cut events. These are things that Jack Nicklaus and I are still in discussion with Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan and the board and the tour and the rest of the guys. Jack Nicklaus had 105 consecutive cuts during his days as a pro golfer, so he's also one to talk. Nicklaus also mentioned that he has held discussions with PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan to keep a 36-hole cut at his tournament at Muirfield Village. We all know that Tiger Woods has been vocally against the LIV Golf since its inception, so you can understand him being against the PGA Tour adapting formats from the breakaway tour. However, with a more neutral figure like Jack Nicklaus being against the idea too, surely Monahan would reconsider, right? Wrong. He didn't even give it a thought. Reports have it that Monahan has told reporters that he intends on having the PGA adopt the no-cut events. In fact, Monahan didn't even shy away from mentioning that he doesn't care about the accusations of hypocrisy or the blowback from their existing members. But why is he so keen on emulating the LIV structure? Well, it turns out that Monahan spent a lot of time trying to win over the membership for the flagship events. So having succeeded in convincing them, he's definitely not going to back down now. Another viable reason is that no-cut events have a very good effect on the financial side of golf, and that's one of the major issues Monahan's job description expects him to keep on the high side. We must mention that the official decision hasn't been made on the PGA Tour adapting the no-cut events format, but you heard it here first. It will be in effect by next season. These aren't the only ways the LIV is changing the landscape of golf, though. This video won't be complete without mentioning yet another change inspired by the LIV. This time, it's about slow play. If you've been keeping up with golf at all, you'll have noticed the controversy about this issue. It's not been fully discussed by the PGA board like the no-cut events proposal, but it's definitely a shocker to see the tour consider some of the LIV's tactics on a matter so important. Slow play has always been a topic of interest in the PGA Tour, and thanks to Patrick Cantlay taking his sweet time to finish a round during the just concluded Masters, the topic is as hot as ever. Both fans and players have shared their thoughts on the slow play. 2022 US Open champion Matt Fitzpatrick even went as far as calling Cantlay's slow antics disgraceful and appalling. But that's still dwelling on the problem. What about the solution? After so long, PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan seems to have come up with a possible solution to the slow play issue. The only not-so-tiny problem with the solution is that it's taken straight out of the LIV Golf playbook. Since the inception of the Saudi-backed franchise, the LIV has run events using shotgun starts. We'll explain. Shotgun starts mean golfers will start at the same time, but on different tees. This way, a round will last for a much shorter time, although it's more conducive to smaller fields. The LIV has way fewer players than the PGA, so it works for them. But how does the PGA plan on adopting this idea with so many member golfers? Well, Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan recently explained that the Tour actually had plans to address slow play. The proposed solution to do this is through the new designated events that will be introduced in the 2024 season. Monahan explained, "I would remind everyone that when we get into the 2024 season, these designated events are going to have player field sizes anywhere from the mid-60s to 80. If there's anything that you can do to improve the pace of play, that's it." Fans got to see what these new field sizes would be like, and we have to say they look so similar to those used for LIV events. The PGA has been able to put such a change in place because of the pre-existing rules of the Tour concerning field size. Normally, the PGA determines the size of the field for their events based on a number of factors. First, it's determined whether the tournament is classified as an open event or an invitational. Next, the time of year of the event. And lastly, tournaments are not considered open events, classified as special eligibility, and they're the events with the most varying field sizes. So in the PGA Tour's defense, they're not following the LIV's pattern, but are just invoking one of their many laws. But hey, we're not fools. It's as clear as day that this decision, like many others in recent times, is being made by the Tour to maintain a leveled playing ground in their feud with LIV Golf. The LIV came onto the scene as the villain franchise, but having established grounds to make their tour successful, a number of their policies and formats are being adopted by the entire golf world. And you know what? We love to see it.